Generally speaking, man boobs are the result of having too much fat around the chest area. In some rare cases in adults, it can be gyno or gynecomastia. But most cases in adults, at least adult men, it's pseudo gynecomastia, which basically acts as gynecomastia, but it's just too much fat around the chest area and can be solved by losing fat. The first step you need to take is to look at your diet. You need to create a calorie deficit that's burning more calories than you're consuming. And the biggest issue is people overeating. Overeating is literally the biggest problem. You probably agree with that yourself because you can train as hard as you want. If you're overeating, you're not going to be losing fat. So you can't out-train a bad diet. That's an old but very, very valid statement. So what does that look like? Some people will go crazy and tell you to just eat way too little. The problem is that's not sustainable in the long run, and chest fat is stubborn. So it needs to be something that's meaningful but also sustainable long enough for you to see the results you want. That's your man boobs gone. So I suggest creating a calorie deficit of 25% and no more. So you're probably thinking, yes, Adam, I've heard it so many times, but how do I get in a calorie deficit and stay in a calorie deficit? You can either track to be a little bit more precise, or you can just not track. Either way, you need to focus on habits that are gonna help make it easier for you to stay in a calorie deficit. And my favorite one is to increase the quality of your foods, or just eat more whole foods in general. This alone can be enough for someone to see significant results. Eating 1 to 2 servings of vegetables with each meal. I suggest green vegetables that are really low in calories, like broccoli, cabbage, kale, spinach. They're really high in volume for very little calories. So the volume is going to help you stay fuller longer. Also, the water count and the amount of fiber in these vegetables all combined is going to help you stay fuller for longer, preventing your chances of overeating. Another big lever is eating 3 to 4 meals and no snacks, making sure those meals each contain, like I said, 1 to 2 servings of vegetables, and you're cooking most of those meals from more or less scratch. And then you want to make sure you are reassessing where you're at. So if you hit a plateau, I mean a real plateau, not 1 week without progress, I mean 2 to 3 weeks without any progress, then you need to look at your calorie count. You need to look at, if you're tracking that is, or if you're not tracking, look at your portion sizes and make small reductions until you're making progress again. So you make a small reduction, give it a few weeks. If you're making progress, keep at it until you hit a plateau again, and just be in it for the long run. It's gonna take time. Step 2 is protein intake. Protein is key to maintaining and building muscle, and that's key if you wanna look the best when you lose weight, and you also want to keep that fat off for good, because you don't want your metabolism slowing down because you've lost too much muscle. When it comes to protein, the best sources are eggs, dairy, meat, poultry, fish, legumes, beans. Those are the best sources, and you want to make sure you're having 30 to 50 grams of actual protein in each meal. So that's 3 to 4 servings a day of 30 to 50 grams of protein. And remember, protein is the most filling macronutrient out of protein, fats and carbs, so it's going to also help keep you fuller for longer. Over the years, the research on protein has been pretty consistent, saying that you need between 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That comes out at about 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of your body weight. But some recent research suggested that you could probably get away with eating a bit less protein. So this is obviously a preference, but some research, recent research anyway, found as little as 1.4 grams per kilogram. That's about 0.6 grams per pound of your body weight of protein being sufficient. But to be honest, I am on the side of caution here. Protein is filling. Most people like consuming protein, so I suggest consuming somewhere between 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram of your body weight. That comes out about 0.7 to 0.9 grams per pound of your body weight. And obviously I do suggest like trying to consume as much as you can from food, obviously within that range. But if you need a helping hand, then a protein shake is a perfectly fine way to get protein. And not only fine, it's a great way. It's super convenient, it's cheap, and those are important when it comes to maintaining a calorie deficit. Step 3 is resistance training. No, I'm not going to tell you that by working your chest you're going to lose fat from your chest, but what I'm going to tell you is resistance training is going to help you look better. It's going to help you build muscle in your chest, so when you do lose the fat, your chest looks even better. So that is what you want. So you may or may not know, but the chest is a big muscle. It has 3 main regions: the upper, the middle, and the lower. A well-designed program that meets you where you're at will give you enough volume to train all of these parts correctly. And there's one thing I want to add. A lot of people still do chest days. While there's nothing wrong with that, just you'll likely get better results from training your chest twice a week. Most of my audience are men over 30 who also work office jobs. So this is why I kind of remove barbells, well, barbell bench presses from the equation, just because they can put like excess stress on the wrist, the shoulders and the elbows, just because the lack of like flexibility and angle. So don't take this as the panacea for the best chest routine ever. It's not. This is just what I would recommend for those of you that do work an office job and you want to minimize the risk of injury. So the first one, the first exercise even, I would suggest a dumbbell bench press. You can do that. It depends on your split where you put that, but a dumbbell bench press is a great exercise. That's going to hit your whole chest. The next one is an incline dumbbell press. This is going to hit your upper chest a bit more, and it's best done on a 15 to 30 degree angle according to the research. The final exercise you want to add in your routine is a seated fly or like a cable crossover. This is going to train your chest in a stretch position, which is shown to lead to further muscle growth. So doing these in your routine will hit all regions of the chest and maximize chest development. That's really all I wanted to cover in this video. If you've got any questions at all, comment below. But if you follow these steps, you will lose your man boobs for good. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon.